Hi everyone, it's Connie Sattler, and my presentation is based on the case Name Your Price, and I titled my essay Employee or Entrepreneur because it was based on the whole health management case study. When I put together my case-based essay, I followed the Harvard suggested approach, the Harvard Business School format, which includes, well, I started it with a situation summary and comment on Christian worldview. And then I put together a position statement, the evidence to support my position, and then proposed an action plan. So the situation summary in the case is that the organization is Whole Health Management that was founded in 1991. They're a business that operates on-site and near-site health clinics for self-insured organizations in the United States. They're headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. They operate as a subsidiary of Walgreens. They are run by Mr. James J. Hummer. He was both the founder and the CEO. And in the case, the situation is that there's a gentleman by the name of Monroe Davies, who's a near graduate of Harvard Business School MBA program. And the decision case that's presented to us was that Mr. Davies had the opportunity to write his own job offer. So from a Christian worldview perspective, the Bible certainly speaks to that workers should be paid the wages that are due them. In Genesis 29, Jacob's uncle Laban says to him, "Just because you're a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages should be." That's Genesis 29, verse 15. When God later gave the Levitical law to Moses, one law that was given to the Israelites was do not hold back the wages of a hired worker overnight. That's Leviticus 19:13. Jesus, in the New Testament, in Luke's account of the sending out of the 72 disciples, encouraged them to give peace to the house in which they stayed, and also to stay there, eating and drinking whatever they give you, for the worker deserves his wages. That's from Luke 10:7. And lastly, a warning is given to all employers who seek to hoard their wealth at the expense of their employees by not paying the wages that are due them. From James 5, verse 4, it says, "Look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty." Now, certainly God also has ordered his world and governs it with a system that encourages workers to work hard as if they were serving the Lord and not people. That comes from Ephesians 6, verse 7. So it is right and it is good and it is biblical for Davies to put forth his best effort when he crafts this role and compensation arrangement, but it's also good for Hummer to pay him what is due him for his efforts. Now, the position statement that I created, and as I laid this out, is that I suggest that Davies should propose a variable pay plan design rather than a base pay plan design. A variable pay plan proposal actually showcases some entrepreneurial risk-taking characteristics like innovation, creativity, obviously, and risk-taking. And a variable pay design also demonstrates some professionalism that will be found and which Davies can propose in terms of financial success of whole health management that is coupled with his own kind of financial well-being based on the plan. So I went through the evidence to support this position statement. I wanted to talk about what I thought Davies should do, why he should do it, and then how he can execute it. And let me move into the evidence now. So for the evidence, I focused on what I had just kind of summarized, that there's actually some personal characteristics that will be supported by the proposal for this variable plan. Now, variable pay plans are also called incentive plans or pay for performance plans. So there are some elements of entrepreneurialism that are supported by this that will show kind of personally well for Davies, but also some professional characteristics. So the evidence for my paper came across all these areas, so let me just kind of run through those now. As we know, kind of to set this up, the case kind of outlined the major responsibilities that Davies would have in that offer letter. Hummer described that he's going to have responsibilities for managing $10 to $12 million book of client relationship business. He's got responsibilities for growing some existing contracts and also for developing new business. And certainly at the director level into which he's being hired that reports directly to CEO, Davies is going to have kind of a high level, high visibility position. So Hummer and some other interactions, he expressed that he intended to personally mentor Davies. He mentioned that entrepreneurs take risks and shouldn't fear failure. He shared how he was looking forward to helping Davies grow the business as Hummer taught him how to build the business. And those elements actually influenced my position statement. So when I propose this variable pay at risk arrangement, it's going to reinforce kind of the professional and personal characteristics. Now, pay for performance plans are very powerful. In these types of arrangements, employees are rewarded for making great impacts on their organizations because they then receive the greatest share of the rewards. And that comes from research by Stifler to 2006. So let's go through some of these personal characteristics and some of the evidence that I had for it. Now, it is in Davies' best interest to kind of showcase innovation, creativity, and risk-taking. So the first one is entrepreneurial innovation. Corporate entrepreneurship is a process that encourages innovation within an organization. That's from research by Monson, Pazult, and Saxton, 2010. This is something that would be very important for Davies to demonstrate. Secondly, in terms of entrepreneurial vision, corporate entrepreneurs are described in the literature as being employees who are visionary and who dream of taking organizations in new directions. That comes from Corrado and Goldsby, 2004. So it is going to be crucial for Davies' success that he lives into Hummer's expectation that he have this entrepreneurial vision and support, spirit, I guess. So that every new opportunity that's given to him, he steps into it. Now, motivation in terms of being an entrepreneur within an organization, another personal characteristic that's attributed to corporate entrepreneurs is that they have personal drive for significance and success. So when he proposes this package that has an entrepreneurial design within it, Davies is going to showcase kind of what motivates him. And the researchers, Hartog and all, from 2010 concluded that successful entrepreneurship profoundly affects economic growth, labor demand, and innovation, which are characteristics that lead to greater job satisfaction and longevity. So as Hummer considers kind of the long-term goal of having Davies be an executive with long tenure there, he's going to be encouraged that this compensation plan design actually supports, reinforces, and satisfies the very entrepreneurial spirit that he desires to kind of cultivate in Davies. Lastly, I focus on entrepreneurial flourishing. The research confirms that innovative compensation design actually encourages high performance in executives, and it actually also characterizes high performance organizations. That comes from research by Cross, 2011. On the other side of that, those are the personal characteristics. What about the professional characteristics that this will demonstrate? Hummer repeatedly challenged Davies with personal and professional challenges. It said that on page 92 of our case study. So by demonstrating that Davies has a research-based business case for this variable comp proposal, I think Davies will be showing Hummer that he is focused on the financial success of whole health management as well as on his own financial well-being. So having a compensation design that also kind of rewards growth orientation is going to be critical, because the case study also said on page 97 that Hummer wanted whole health management to triple in size within the next year. So he's going to have kind of the brain power, the professional kind of characteristics to do that. So 3 different kind of areas I had for this. Entrepreneurial research. The research certainly supports that there are financial benefits of variable pay plans. There's a study of credit unions with CEO incentive plans. All the plans with incentives, the credit unions with incentive plans outperform the other ones financially over time. And actually, the longer the plans were in place, the better the financial results turned out to be. That's from Yancey's research, 2010. Entrepreneurial strategy, one of the key responsibilities Davies has is new business development. So in order to grow the existing business and reach into new markets, Davies needs to demonstrate that he's focused on and wants to be rewarded for those efforts. Entrepreneur managers are characterized by this combination of both entrepreneur with external focus and risk-taking, as well as being a good operations manager with solid discipline. That comes from Chekavarsky and Lorange research, 2008. Lastly, entrepreneurial cost control. One of the strongest arguments for variable comp plan is that it controls compensation costs. As we all know, when compensation comes in the form of base pay and benefits, there's annual increases year over year. And so the annual compensation expense for an organization grows year over year. So compensation experts recognize that base pay strategy actually creates an entitlement culture within an organization, and variable comp plans by design have to be earned and re-earned each measurement period. So it's going to be good for whole health management and for Hummer to have Davies on this plan, because he's going to have to contribute year over year to the annual goals. So lastly, what's the action plan that needs to be followed? I think that Davies should complete his research, prepare a proposal, make his design simple and straightforward. He should meet face-to-face with Hummer to discuss the draft. He should propose a design that mixes fixed and variable pay along those three plan components, and he should recognize that pay at risk means he could earn far less or far more than a variable or than a fixed plan. So, what is the risk of Davies not doing this? I think the biggest risk is that Hummer might not accept the design, but Hummer encouraged risk-taking and encouraged Davies to learn from his mistakes. I think the variable pay design will motivate Davies as an employee. The variable pay design will be great success for whole health management. So I think that if Morgan were to play it safe and just propose a fixed pay plan plus bonus, I think the biggest risk of all is that he might not live up to kind of the innovative and entrepreneurial expectation that Hummer already has expressed that he expects of him. A simple pay and bonus plan signals that Davies might be risk averse and uncreative, and those are definitely not characteristics that Hummer would be looking for if he wants a director of business operations who will directly report to him and hope one day to take over market segments. So that concludes my proposal.